I'd like to think I'm the polar opposite of a Kris Letang basher. I was backing Letang through times that weren't all that pleasant for him in his career, meaning just from a hockey standpoint. I was calling him the greatest defenseman in franchise history back when some were laughing at that. But yeah, I got something to say today. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Sabres 7, Penguins 3. There's so many different people you could point a finger at after this performance and the one in Tampa. All of it seemingly following a really deflating shootout loss, of all things, in Sunrise, Florida, to the Panthers. I'm not sure that I get that. I covered the game in Sunrise, and I got the mood in there. The players were legitimately unhappy. They felt they deserved better, and they have felt that they've deserved better in terms of results for some time now. And by that, I mean like a couple of months. They feel like they put out a certain level of effort and energy and performance, and it doesn't show up on the scoreboard. It doesn't show up in the standings. And I understand that. And to an extent, I can respect that. It's one of the reasons that I've gone out of my way to praise this team, even when it's been out of the playoff picture. I mean, beyond dispute out of the playoff picture, because I've found it commendable that they, specifically the guys who talk about it the most, Sidney Crosby, Brian Rust, they want to sustain this culture that they've built. If it sounds like I'm putting off what I actually want to say here, I am, because I'm not comfortable with it, because I have an immense appreciation for what Letang has done on and off the ice as a Pittsburgh Penguin. But I am also here to say that his showing last night in Buffalo is not okay. Never mind who else is to blame and who could have made this save and whatever else here. What he did as a leader on this team, as a key figure in this franchise's history, that's not overstating it. That's not okay. That's not okay. Pinning a guy against the glass at the Pittsburgh blue line who wasn't going to hurt you in any way, to concede a 2-on-1 in the opening minute, the first shift of the game, and then just watching the rest of the play develop, that's not okay. I'm not about to look at the end of that sequence and wonder what Matt Grzelcyk could have done to break up the 2-on-1, or whether or not Tristan Jarry could have been more aggressive on Tage Thompson. I don't care. I do care about the part of it, the part of that sequence that was flat out embarrassing for the Pittsburgh Penguins as a brand, as a culture. That's lousy. That's not acceptable. And then to see Letang do it again. It was different, but it was a different level of nonchalance, just trying to get through this on the second Buffalo goal, then on the third Buffalo goal. And I'm not going to waste your time or mine breaking them all down. But I don't feel as if any player, up to and including the captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins, has the right to do that. I don't think there's a correct setting for that. I don't care that the goaltending's been what it's been. I don't care that the GM might have made moves that didn't align with doing everything that you could to win this season. In fact, I applaud the GM for doing that. And I don't care, not in this circumstance, that it's been a tough season all around, collectively, individually. you're down to single-digit games left. It's not asking a lot of anyone, much less someone as important as Kris Letang, to do a whole lot better than that. When we come back, J1Q. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. Today's J1Q comes from Skip, who says, DK, Kris Letang and Matt Grzelcyk were both -4. Their supposed ability to move the puck is negligible compared to their inability to complete basic defensive work. There is no way you can bring 24 back next season, but they probably will, right? As Skip, I'm going to reiterate from the opening segment here, and you're hearing from somebody who's been pretty tough on Grzelcyk this season. And this wasn't a Grzelcyk thing. Grzelcyk was out there making up for Letang, by and large. Now, that said, to go at your actual question, are they going to bring him back? Are they looking to, sign him to a new contract? I mean, I know that they really liked him. I know that the head coach really likes him, that they stuck with him through that awful start that he had through the first quarter of the schedule, and eventually got some good offensive production, good passing, a good power play work, which is worth pointing out and I think applauding to an extent. I didn't see Grzelcyk being a guy who would get power play point work on a team that had Letang and Erik Karlsson and Evgeny Malkin, but he did, and he earned it. Now, to me, the answer as to whether or not you keep a Grzelcyk is based on two questions. One is, how much would he cost? And if it's even remotely a little bit more than he's getting now, or the same amount, meaning around 2.5 or so, I'd be out. But two, and way, way, way more important, so I shouldn't have said two, who else is there? Meaning already here, you don't have left-handed defensemen overflowing here. There's no more Marcus Pettersson. And for whatever anybody thought of Pettersson, he was and is a legit top 4 guy. Wherever he'd play, including Vancouver, he's a top 4 guy. You've lost a top 4 guy. Nice trade, first-round pick, still lost a top 4 guy. You want, actually, let me rephrase that. You need Owen Pickering to be up and productive in the NHL next season. You need Pickering, I believe, to become a top 4 guy. So if you have Pickering and you don't have Grzelcyk, and you're still talking about lefties, and you're talking about Ryan Graves and his contract that's just not going to go away. And from there, you start getting into a lot of blank stares. You start seeing why bringing Connor Timmins in was nice, but you don't want Timmins playing his offside any more than you would want Karlsson playing on his offside. So assuming you were asking that in a real way, as opposed to just a get this guy out of here kind of way, I'd first look around. But I'd also remember that in looking around, there are way more lefty defensemen out there than there are righties. So it shouldn't be mission impossible. And yes, I purposely skipped over Vladislav Kolyachonok because I just don't know what to make of him. He looks like a scouting combine player to me, meaning you look at him, you go, oh yeah, he can skate. Oh yeah, he can do this. Oh yeah, he can do that. But you don't see it all put together. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. We'll be back with a new one Monday.